Why is copper the most important future mineral, and why surf copper porphyry waves? We believe there are three gnarly reasons: ESG or decarbonisation, electrification, just ask Elon, and scalability. Welcome to the Arlington Big Wave Copper Porphyry Day, and before I get started on those, I'd just like to welcome you and say some thank yous. Firstly, to the 600 or more attendees which have registered for today's event. When Roger and I came up with this idea a couple of months ago, we thought there might be 20 or 30 people sitting around talking to each other about arcane geological theories, and we've been overwhelmed in just 4 days of advertising this event that we've had most of the world's major mining companies register and 600 attendees or more overall. Thank you to the panelists. They've all given you their time today free of charge. We've got 6 big wave copper explorer companies. We've got 2 of the world's foremost experts on porphyry copper exploration. That's Dr. Greg Corbett from Sydney and Professor Jamie Wilkinson in London. We've also asked our friend Kaylee Barker, a geologist and a member of the BlackRock World Mining Team, to give us an investor's perspective on investing in exploration and particularly in porphyry copper. None of this technologically would have been possible as we reached out to the online audience than without investability. And if you're a mining company and you need an investor relations or a digital media sorceress black belt, then you can see the images of beautiful Danica and Eleanor from Investability, and they put this together technologically. So thank you to Danica and to Eleanor. So back to why we're here. We know of 0 big mining companies that want to invest in more coal mines. They all seem to want to invest in copper, and judging by the list of attendees, they're all listening here today. Tesla makes a lot of noise about nickel and lithium, but actually if you're a big mining company, there's only 2 minerals which matter, and that's iron ore and copper. They're both around $150 billion annual markets. If you compare that to nickel, nickel is less than $50 billion. So the first reason that we care about copper is it's big if you're a big mining company, and it's over 3 times as important as the next biggest mineral, being nickel. So where does copper come from? Mostly, overwhelmingly, copper comes from a mountain range in Latin America known as the Andes. The 2 largest copper producing countries in the world, Chile and Peru, at 8,000 tons combined, are actually as important as the next 8 largest copper producing countries together. That's China, USA, Australia, Congo, Zambia, Canada, Russia, and Mexico. So together, Chile and Peru make up 40% of the world's copper production. So the Andes truly are the greatest place on earth to catch big copper waves. The northern Andes, there's a little country known as Ecuador, which has seemed to be caught in some political economic time warp for the last 100 years. And although it is an extension of the same mountain range which hosts 40% of the world's copper production, it is relatively underrepresented in terms of copper production today, which is why we think we've got such a remarkable audience. And in fact, 3 out of 6 of our big wave copper riders today are looking actively for big wave copper porphyries in Ecuador. So firstly, I'd like to introduce and to thank SolGold. We've got Jason Ward. Jason's a senior geologist. Jason takes significant credit for finding the Cascabel-Apala multi-billion ton porphyry in Ecuador. We're standing by the edge of our seat waiting for assays from the Porphyry new discovery of SolGold. That's a 900-meter intersection. We're waiting for the assays on that in the coming weeks. And interestingly, on October the 19th, a standstill, meaning BHP, who's a significant shareholder of SolGold, can't buy any more shares in SolGold. That drops away on October the 19th. So SolGold is very interesting at the moment. Also in Ecuador, and in the afternoon session, we have 2 sessions. We have the morning session now for 2 hours, and then at 3 p.m. London time, we have the afternoon session to accommodate the North Americans. We have another Ecuadorian listed in Toronto, a company called Solaris. 40 years ago, the father of copper porphyry exploration, David Lowell, found the Warintza ore body. Of course, David Lowell we know better because he found the world's biggest copper mine, Escondida, mined by BHP and Rio Tinto today. David also found an ore body called Warintza, and recently Solaris announced a 1,000-meter hole at 0.7% copper equivalent from surface. The third Ecuadorian big wave rider in our lineup again this afternoon, and thank you to Merlimar Johnson for representing Salazar, is arguably Ecuador's David Lowell. If I translate that into Australian for the Australians listening, Freddie Salazar would be the Mark Creasy of Ecuador. He's been involved in the discoveries of 6 important mineral endowments in Ecuador. Currently, Salazar is advancing with their partner Adventus the 10 million ton, 5% copper gold Curipamba discovery through feasibility study. Freddie also discovered the Gaby ore body, which is a 100 million ton porphyry in Ecuador, and also was there at the very beginning of Fruta del Norte, which today is the apple of Newcrest's eye, and a 300,000 ounce per year gold mine in Ecuador. Lastly, Salazar is drilling 2 porphyry targets right now, 1 gold, 1 copper porphyry. Apart from Ecuador, if you're going to go and be a big wave copper surfer, the other place to go surfing is deep underground. Moving down to Australia, we've got Chris Cairns joining us. Thank you, Chris, for interrupting your Diggers and Dealers conference from Kalgoorlie. Chris is drilling underneath Victorian farmland. Victoria, the COVID insane state of Australia. Staveley currently have 20 or 30 million tons, we think, of copper in the ground. But interestingly, Chris talks about the analog between the Thursday's Gossan copper ore body and the Resolution porphyry in Arizona. He'll be drilling for that next month, 1.5 kilometer underneath the farmland of Victoria. And we're watching that with much excitement, looking for new information from Staveley in the next few weeks. The other Australian online today, thank you to Ian Chalmers. Alkane, just around the corner from Newcrest's Cadia copper gold mine in New South Wales in Australia. They're looking for the high-grade core of the Boda discovery near Cadia, and that should be at around 200 meters depth. Thank you to Ian Chalmers from Alkane. The last big wave copper rider that I'm going to talk about, which is in the afternoon session, recently welcomed Teck, the largest Canadian diversified mining company, as a 10% shareholder. That is Kodiak Copper. The shares are up 1,000% in the last 2 months, which of course is what most of the attendees will care about, making money with their shares. They drilled 282 meters at 1.6% copper equivalent. That's at around 500 to 800 meters depth and follows up previous exploration by Newmont and Rio Tinto. So thank you to Claudia Tornquist in our afternoon session. A little bit of compliance, just to remind you, Arlington is not giving any investment advice on this webinar. We do own shares in at least half of the companies presenting, and we'll probably buy some more. Just to refresh you, there are 2 sessions today. We've got the morning session, which runs for 2 hours now, and then we take off 5 hours, and then we come again at 3 p.m. UK time, and we give you the afternoon session with a further 3 big wave copper riders. There will be a prize for the best question that we'll be taking when we do the Q&A, which is the end of the panel session this morning. And to give us, apart from giving us a question in the Q&A, you also have to tell us which country makes awesome chocolate and awesome copper ore bodies. All the panelists, you will also get a prize.